guys, now we're gonna cover 12 Years a Slave. This is starring Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah, he's British.
British. With
Directed by Steve McQueen, who's
Steve
also
McQueen,
British.
British also, and black.
Yeah.
Okay, and you got cameos here by Brad Pitt, Paul Giamatti,
Benedict Cumberbatch.
and Paul Dano.
Paul Dano, who's always going to play the bad guy now, I guess.
Yep.
He can't play good guys.
He can't. He's typecast there.
Yeah.
And of course, Michael Fassbender. So.
Well, the story's set, I think, 1840s. Solomon Northup is a freeborn man
Freeborn
in New
black
York.
man.
Yeah, in New York. And he's a violinist, a fiddler.
Yeah.
He's got his family, he's got a wife and 2 kids, but he's kidnapped because these 2 gentlemen promise him a job,
Yeah, gig. Yeah.
a gig, but they eventually drug him, they kidnap him, they sell him off to slavery, and he ends up in Louisiana.
Yeah.
What I remember,
Or Georgia.
Or Georgia.
Georgia.
Down south.
Yeah. Ends up on a plantation.
And they basically take away his freedom, and he's no longer Solomon Northup, he's just black. It's just this. Then he ends up on a plantation run by Benedict Cumberbatch, who tries to be an advocate for him, no matter how difficult that is. But eventually he ends up.
Yeah,
in,
shit goes down,
yeah,
and he ends up in the tender care of Michael Fassbender.
who was very cruel. That's where he meets another slave in Lupita Nyong'o. Gives a startling performance there as a patsy.
Yeah.
And it's based on a true story.
True story. Yeah. This is one of those really
Powerful movies.
heavy movies. I would liken it to watching Schindler's List.
Yeah.
It's really. I'll say it up front. I think this is a decent movie. It's a decent movie, but man, it's just a hard watch, dude.
It's powerful.
It's a hard watch.
There was no way I was going to watch this at night because it's heavy, so I'll not fall asleep. I watched this in the afternoon, early afternoon, and I was riveted because Chiwetel Ejiofor is really good.
He's always been
really good.
He's always
now he's really a lead actor because before you see him in the sides like in what was that movie of Spike Lee's movie?
He was in Inside Man.
Inside Man,
He was
right,
there.
just on the side.
Actually, where I saw this guy first, when I first saw this guy, he got my attention. This movie called Serenity.
Okay,
It's that's the lead. That's the movie of Firefly.
Right. Okay.
And he was I've never heard of the guy. I was like, wow, where did this guy come from?
There's a rumor that he was supposed to be either the 10th or 11th Doctor at some point, but didn't happen because that would have been different. It would have been an African British man as the Doctor.
That would have been interesting.
But it didn't happen. But still, he's here. He plays Solomon Northup. There's nobility in him because you see that this guy is trying to stay true to being a free man who does not agree with slavery, but he's dumped in that position and he's just trying to survive.
Yeah, it's
He's
really
trying to
just
survive.
about
He's
survive.
basically eating shit and stuff,
Taking crap.
and being abused, and they took away his name, they took away his dignity, they took away all of that, and he's trying to make it. He's trying to get along with the plantation owner, even though the first plantation owner is kind of a wuss, and the second was just an abusive prick.
Yeah.
And it's just powerful, man.
More than any other slave movie I've ever watched. I mean, of course, Django Unchained,
Color Purple,
and Lincoln's got a bit of that. Even Blazing Saddles has a bit of that. More than any movie I watched about slavery.
The Help had
Yeah. This is like, Steve McQueen, I think, is really brilliant in a way that he makes you feel you're part of the experience.
Yeah.
He really gets you that feeling like you're stuck there, with Platt, with Solomon, and you can imagine 12 years, your life, you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Day to day, your life is in danger.
Yeah.
Because the humiliation he put
You don't know
up
if your
with.
family is still alive.
Yeah, you don't
looking
that,
for
that
you.
too. I mean, it's one thing to be a slave all your life, but this guy knew freedom.
Yep.
And to have it taken away so cruelly, and to be put through all that indignity, it is harsh.
Yeah. Receives whippings.
yeah.
He's almost lynched.
Yeah, I mean, he's almost lynched. I mean, that was cool. That was like horrific. I mean, because it's like it shows you the
And it was
scene
really
alone.
petty.
Yeah, and it
The
was
cause for it was
it was
so
petty,
petty.
and the banality of it, man. How you know he's suffering, he's there hanging, you know, and he's on his tiptoes,
Yeah.
and everyone else, all the other
Passing by,
slaves, are just kind of
playing.
treating things normally,
Yeah.
you know, like everyday life.
Yep.
And it just goes to show you at that time, like, parang, how beaten down these people were. You know, I watched this with a friend of mine, and he was like going like, my God, there's so many black people there. You know, why couldn't they just stand up and fight? It's just
Because
it's a mind game.
Their humanity had been taken away
Yeah.
by these white owners.
Right,
and
right.
even if they united and they fought back, where would they go?
Yeah, you know, they're like deep in the, you know,
Deep in the South.
deep in the South. Where the hell are you gonna go, right? Yeah, it's scary.
This was years before the U.S. Civil War. This was practically a decade before.
Right,
so
right.
before they knew that there was a chance at some kind of freedom out there. So they were treated basically like dogs.
Yeah,
almost.
I mean that
Worse
scene.
than
That
dogs.
scene with Paul Giamatti. You know,
Right.
he was like when they were in the store, the white people are looking for their favorite sleeves. I mean, okay, he was
Here's
like
a kid. Here, jump, run.
disturbing.
Yeah.
Although it did remind me that apparently Paul Giamatti played the similar role in Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, he
it's
did.
just him without the orangutan fur.
outfit. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
He,
Yeah.
he basically did the same
that
role
is
here.
true, that is
you know,
true, yeah.
and it's
I
just
forgot.